I'm live. I'm a little late. Sorry. Good evening, KO Realty individuals. We are going to do my Tuesday Nick Patterson training. And what I'm going to talk today about on October 8th, very sunny day, is Nick's top books for real estate investing. So exciting. So here is my process, how I do things. And I'm going to talk about Automobile University and Dog Walking College. The sponsors of today's live training is Joel Schwab, our guaranteed rate individual. Joel.schwab@rate.com. If you have listings, a great website, I'm going to put it right here, it's called gateless.com, and you can input your listing data. You can put flyers, brochures, get mortgage rates popped up, really neat stuff. Also, other sponsors are Rivers Title. If you have a listing and don't have a real estate attorney, please let us know. We have great real estate attorneys we can refer to you, and you can get $500 as a credit for your seller, and you look like a hero. Also, commission advance. So if you do a deal and you need, I get a little headache sometimes staring at the screen. If you need to get some money before your deal closes, let us know, and we'll pop it up. How's it look with my hand like this? I'll do it because I'm comfortable. So anyway, here's how we're gonna get started. I talked about this before, but I have severe ADD and ADHD and dyslexia and pretty much everything you can name. So I do not read books. I listen to books. I started listening to books on an app called Audible for a long time. And then I switched over recently to an app called Scribd. So if you like to listen to books, I highly recommend Scribd because it's $9.99 a month and that's unlimited books, whereas Audible is you pay per book. I do find, just a side note, when I'm on the Scribd and I get unlimited books, I only listen to maybe the first couple chapters until I get bored and then I go to a new book. As opposed to Audible, I'm like, oh, I already paid $15 for the Steve Jobs autobiography. I'm going to listen to all 21 hours of this. So it's a different mindset, I guess. You get more with Scribd, but maybe you won't listen to the whole thing. But that's okay. I learned a while ago when you read a book, you eat the meat and throw away the bones. And you kind of take what you want and throw away the rest. So here's my history. I was looking back at the last 5 years of my Audible and Scribd backgrounds. I'm averaging about 2 books a month, 1 book every other week, 22 to 25 books a year. And my only categories are self-help, history books, and biographies. I like biographies of comedians because I like their perseverance. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share the most important books that I've read as I did some research this morning that helped me in my investing life. Basically, you can stop listening now because short story, 90% of what I learned was pretty much just changing my perspective. Zig Ziglar calls it, change the world by putting on rose-tinted glasses and just realizing that, hey, this is something I can do. 10% of buying real estate is just kind of, the rest seems to fall into place. So my first book I recommend is called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I'm going to recommend the paperback on this one because it's got some artistic value to it and it's super short. But what I saw him speak a couple years ago and what I liked about this is essentially nothing is original. That's even more true in real estate investing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to create an iPad or an iPhone when you're doing real estate investing. Other people, thousands and millions of people have invested in real estate. Just copy what they do. Simple as that. So copy, Steal Like an Artist. Great book. The second book I recommend, these aren't investing books, but these are more mindset books. I'll get to the investing books in a little bit, but one of the best books I ever read in my life was The Alchemist. Essentially, it's turning lead into gold, but in reality, everything you have is already in your own backyard. Ryan Holiday, a great author. I'm reading this book right now called Stillness is the Key, and he's got these other books, The Obstacle is the Way, The Ego is the Enemy, very stoic, Marcus Aurelius type material. So what you can take away from this is that you make mistakes essentially, and you're going to have issues. But if you can overcome those issues and once again have perseverance, it'll work out. Another rule, I think I said this before, but you can make a lot of mistakes in real estate, but buy in the right location. You can buy in the wrong location, make lots of mistakes, and make all the. I'm gonna say that again. You can buy in the right location and make lots of mistakes. No big deal. You can make no mistakes and buy in the wrong location. Big deal. So that's kind of one thing I learned when I first started investing about location. But instead of poo-pooing all over myself, that's the only word I could find there. I realized that, hey, I can take the opportunity, which I learned from investing in this kind of rougher neighborhood, and take it to other locations and take that knowledge I learned and move on. Steve Martin's book. Oh, the image didn't pop up here, but essentially, he wrote a book a long time ago about his comedy career. It's a really short book as well. The biggest takeaway for me on that was he said he was in show business 10 years, he was awful. For 2 years, he was okay. And for 2 years, he was the best in the world. So essentially, what you want to do, these things take time. Anyone could be, not that you couldn't be, Steve Martin or in any kind of field that you want to be. It just takes dedication. And that's the kind of the takeaway I got from the Steve Martin book. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes here. Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. I'm going to kind of, I divided the Rich Dad, Poor Dad into 2 different categories. There's the books written by Robert Kiyosaki, which don't teach you, or didn't really teach me anything, but they were super motivating. Because he doesn't give exact, he doesn't give, everything is kind of like out in the air, not really great examples, but it's good storytelling. If you want real concrete data, go to his Rich Dad Advisor series. Garrett Sutton, Loopholes of Real Estate. And then Ken McElroy, he actually wrote 2 books, The ABCs of Real Estate Investing 1 and 2, where he actually goes into, here's how I bought a commercial property in Arizona. And then Garrett Sutton again, Start Your Own Corporation. So just to kind of summarize, Robert Kiyosaki on the motivating, hey, you get all amped and pumped and ready to buy real estate. And then for the real stuff series, very good stuff. There's a lot more books here. I think he's got like 16 or 17 in them. Really great stuff. I highly advise it. Where'd I go? The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. This book was awesome, essentially because it taught me focus. Whereas I told this story before, but I wanted to invest in real estate, but from 2004 to 2012, I was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I was looking at 2 flats. I was looking at single family homes. I was looking at multifamilies. I was looking in Gurnee. I was looking in Florida. And until I found my one thing, my one true focus in real estate, which I wanted, multifamily homes on the near south side of Chicago, I was able to accomplish a lot more. The one thing. And he'll even tell you in that book, they ripped it off from City Slickers, from Curly. The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Oh, Grant Cardone, super motivating. Essentially, this book, the life lesson for me was think big. Grant Cardone, he buys a lot of real estate, and you can look him up on Cardone Capital if you're interested in investing with his group. But his thing is if it's not 16 units or over, it's not worth it. So at the time, I was buying 4 flats and 6 flats, and in reality, once you run the numbers, this book taught me you got to think big. Think big. That's the only way to make money in real estate. Dave Lindahl, Multifamily Millions. I saw Dave Lindahl speak about 7 or 8 years ago. He is a guru. He's one of these guys that you go to his website and he wants you to spend $1,000 and buy his program. But everything in his program he wrote in his book. And I loved his book because it gave concrete examples of how to buy properties and how to have partners and how to syndicate. And the best part of this book was the 3 T's. What are the 3 T's? The difference between a landlord and an investor. And that's the 3 T's, which is a landlord's 3 T's are toilets, tenants, and troubles, whereas an investor's 3 T's are tennis, Tahiti, and I forgot the 3rd T. But I think you get the point. But there's a huge difference. When you buy real estate, you don't want to buy yourself a job. You want it to be a passive investing, passive income generating machine. Great book. I got one more left here. No, I got 2 more. Ben Leibovich, These two books are actually not on Audible or Scribd. They are only available on Amazon Kindle. They're relatively short, but Ben Leibovich was a podcast guest on Bigger Pockets for a long time. And I just like the way he talks. I like his like slow, methodical reasoning for things. And so in his two books that he wrote on the Amazon Kindle, he really dives deep into how to analyze a property. One of his rules was the $100 rule. So let's say he assumes 100% financing on the property. It's a 20-unit building. He has to make $100 per door, or else he's not going to get the property. He also says he owns property to make money, not for the sake of just owning property. I love that. So he's just clean. He's a Russian guy. Just really great stuff. Here's the last one is Joe Fearless. He's out in Cincinnati. He's written a couple books. He has a podcast as well called the Best Ever Real Estate Podcast. But I like his books too because, once again, they get right down to the nitty gritty. Here's a property, 123 Main Street is going for X. Here's all the expenses. Here's what you offer for it. Great stuff. And this book, it just recently came out. It's about syndicating. It goes back to the Grant Cardone series, which I really enjoyed, and thinking bigger, right? So if you get a 200-unit building, you're obviously not going to be able to take that down by yourself. You have to get partners. And here you trade your sweat for some equity by putting a deal together. And he kind of does a step-by-step analysis of how to put those deals together for little or no money down out of your pocket, but find the investors and get them the deals that work. So that's the end of my spiel. I'll probably put a link at the end of this with all the books and a link to Amazon. If you guys have any suggestions or other books that you recommend, please put those in the comments. Otherwise, I feel a little scatterbrained today, but that's all right. It's a nice day, so hope you enjoy.